Welcome to our 11 p.m. news program. These are the headlines. The President of the Republic receives the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia and Special Representative of the President of Russia in the Middle East, Mikhail Bogdanov. The Army General Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, Algérie, receives today the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia and Special Representative of the President of Russia in the Middle East in the presence of the PNA's high executives. The Premier chairs the signing ceremony of an agreement between the Algerian government and the African Import-Export Bank for the organization of the 4th edition of the InterAfrican Trade Fair in 2025. Granting of industrial lands in the province of Skikda attracts investors and spurs job creation, an important asset for Algeria's economic revival. Welcome back. Today's beginning is with the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, who received today the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia and Special Representative of the President of Russia in the Middle East, Mikhail Bogdanov. The meeting took place in the presence of the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency, Boualam, and the Secretary General of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Settled Abroad, Alwannaz Magraman. The Russian Deputy Minister made the following statement. Let's have a listen.
I had the honor of being received by the President of the Algerian Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, despite his busy schedule, and I conveyed to him the greetings of President Vladimir Putin. We attach a lot of interest to the relations between Russia and Algeria. President Abdelmajid Tebboune made an official visit to the Russian Federation last June, during which we signed a declaration on in-depth strategic relations in addition to the important security coordination that already exists between our two countries. Knowing that Algeria is currently a non-permanent member of the Security Council, the Russian government is driven by a great desire to raise the Algerian-Russian partnership to a higher level. I thank Abdelmajid Tebboune for this rich and constructive interview, and we hope for more progress in our bilateral relations.
And at the PNA's headquarters, the Army General Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, Algérie, received today the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia and Special Representative of the President of Russia in the Middle East, Mikhail Bogdanov. A meeting which took place with the participation of general officers of the National Defense Ministry and the PNA's General Staff, as well as members of the Russian delegation. The two parties exchanged on the occasion analysis and points of view regarding issues of common interest. In a different activity, Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi chaired today a signing ceremony of the agreement between the Algerian government and the African Import-Export Bank, Afrexim Bank, for the organization of the 4th edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair in 2025. The agreement was signed by the Minister of Trade, Tayyib Zitouni, the Afrexim Bank representative and the Secretariat of the African Continental Trade Area, and the representative of the African Union Commissioner for Trade and Industry. The signing took place in the presence of government members and presidential advisors. During his keynote speech, the Minister of Trade and Export Promotion affirmed that this important economic and cultural event will witness the participation of several public and private enterprises, industrial complexes and production companies from several African countries, a move which is part of Algeria's economic revival.
ونلتقي اليوم لنوثق
The organization of the fourth edition of the Inter-African Trade Fair in Algiers takes place within the framework of the implementation of the strategy of the President of the Republic aimed at strengthening African integration and promoting economic cooperation between the countries of our continent with a view to establish a strong economic base to achieve sustainable development and the well-being of the people of Africa. The profound reforms initiated by the President of the Republic in economic matters based on an inclusive and fruitful integrated approach. The proof is the positive trade balance and the upward curve of non-hydrocarbon exports, reflecting the diversity of the economic fabric, generating added value in several areas. Algeria has all the infrastructure and all the logistical and organizational means, allowing it to shelter with success of this important event. We will work together to make it an effective tool promoting the strengthening of intra-African commercial cooperation and the expansion of areas of investment in Africa.
Algeria is one of the most important African economies that can effectively contribute to the strengthening of partnership and continental cooperation. This fair will be an opportunity to contribute to the growth of African businesses, particularly small and medium-sized businesses operating in different sectors. Africa has no choice but to rely on itself within the framework of continental cooperation by taking advantage of the potential and infrastructure available to the continent via platforms such as the IATF.
Due to be held in Algeria in 2025, the Inter-African Trade Fair is a platform which will allow to demonstrate Africa's economic potential, and its organization will reaffirm Algeria's commitment to the continental economic integration and its place as a locomotive for development. Najah Tayyar with more.
It is to be one of Africa's largest trade fairs. The Inter-African Trade Fair 2025 is expected to attract more than 1,600 exhibitors, 35,000 visitors and delegates from 55 African countries and others from the four corners of the world, with trade investment agreements worth more than $43 billion. Like so, this fair embodies Algeria's commitment to the economic development.
Algeria's bid to host the Inter-African Trade Fair and its participation in the evaluation team is a step in the right direction. We are impressed by the industrial sector here in Algeria.
As a host and a participant, Algeria has a valuable potential that will add a lot to this fair, being a large exporter of various products in agriculture such as dates, energy such as natural gas, and even construction sector with cement and clinker exports, and hundreds of other products in several sectors.
For us as an economic operator who already has its products on the African markets, it is a very important event. It will enable us to discover new markets, place our products and benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Zone to make our products more competitive on these markets. We have already participated in the first IATF, which took place in South Africa, and it was a success because we achieved a very good export turnover. We hope that the IATF to be held in Algeria will achieve even greater goals, because Algeria has enormous industrial potential, especially in the energy sector.
Connecting the African markets, promoting African economic integration and strengthening trade relations between the continent's countries. These are the main objectives of the IATF, which Algeria is preparing to host and make it as an impetus to the Algerian and the African economic development.
And in other news, the Minister of Justice, Abdurrashid Tabi, along with the General Prosecutor of the Russian Federation, Igor Krasnov, supervised a signing ceremony of the Cooperation Executive Program 2024-2025 between the Algerian Ministry of Justice and the services of the Russian General Prosecutor. Still in cooperation, the Minister of Industry and Pharmaceutical Production, Ali Aoun, received today the Belarusian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sergei Alainik. The discussions tackled the means to boost cooperation and partnership between the two countries in the sector of industry, notably the production of agricultural machinery such as tractors, as well as industrial vehicles such as those used in the mining sector. And the head of the Belarusian diplomacy equally met with the Minister of Agriculture, Yusuf Shorfa. The two parties discussed several issues of common interest and reviewed the means to consolidate partnership and cooperation relations between the two countries in the sector of agriculture, notably in red meat, as well as the import and export of agricultural products. In a different context, the granting of industrial lands creates several perspectives to the investors. The ongoing operation is a great support for the creation of jobs, and the province of Skikda is the perfect example. Aya Daho and Yasin Hamdi.
The number of investment projects is increasing in the province of Skikda thanks to the facilitations granted by the public authorities. In this factory, the fusion of short fiber particles is used for the production of a versatile and economic non-woven fabric, following a mechanical and thermal process.
We reached a 5,000 tons production capacity with the current operational production line. We can increase the production capacity to reach 10,000 tons yearly. We have 150 employees.
The 3 hectares industrial zone of Al Harouch in the south of Skikda province offers other favorable conditions to the creation of wealth, including fabric and dietary supplement, as well as jobs, which will be beneficial for the neighboring provinces. At least 17 investment projects are in progress, and more than 30 investors are interested in the opportunities available in this zone.
We produce a mineral concentrate of vitamins used as a dietary supplement in the livestock and poultry feed. Al Harouch industrial zone is equipped with all the necessary installations such as electricity, gas, water and optical fiber, and the access to the east-west highway. Our project is in a good progress.
The creation of industrial zones and the regulation of industrial lands contribute to the launching of promising economic projects adapted to the needs of each region, thus promoting the economic development of the country.
And now to this update regarding the construction work of Sidi Bel Abbas province railway crossing, one of the many lines under construction connecting the mining town of Garajbilat. The work pace is accelerating in quest of finishing the project on the due date. Further details with Rani Bahri.
More than 70 kilometers of railway line which will cross Sidi Bel Abbas province. The project is part of the major Garajbilat Erzu project. The work is progressing at a very appreciable rate in this locality, and it will be delivered soon.
This is a big achievement for the municipality of Sidi Khaled. This project will create a certain dynamic which was lacking here, especially since the locality has a lack of transportation.
We hope it will be delivered soon. We will benefit from this achievement. We welcome the completion of the railway project line linking Ras Al-Ma municipality to Sidi Bel Abbas, which will finally resolve the transport problem which is acute in this region.
On the other hand, the project to double the Wed Tlilet Tlemcen electrified railway line in Sidi Bel Abbas province is in its final phase.
The project has a progress rate of 80%. Only the work of fitting out the light, signalization and connecting certain electrified ports are remaining.
The dedoubling of Wed Tlilet Tlemcen railway line over a distance of 132 kilometers, knowing that Sidi Bel Abbas province encompasses a significant section of 72 kilometers, the work is nearing completion. The north-south railway line, which crosses the same province over a distance of 74 kilometers, is a part of the major strategic Oran Garajbilat project. I gave instructions emphasizing the need to redouble efforts to complete the work within the contractual deadline.
In addition to the creation of green spaces and the planting of trees along the railway line to protect it from silting, the project is an achievement which will have a positive impact on economic development.
In a different context, Algeria is diving more than ever into the world of artificial intelligence by implementing the latter in all fields in the very near future. Today, the talks at the conference organized by the Algerian Post focused on this crucial point, as stressed by the Minister Karim Bibitriki. Sabrin Teferganit reports.
It can literally be called the gateway to the future. This cutting-edge technology is going through serious mutations every day, adding by that new features that can change the whole world. Aspiring to upgrade its services to the citizen, the sector of post and telecommunication in Algeria organized a conference today, a milestone event indeed, since the gist of using AI in the field of management and finance was obviously underscored in order to upgrade the game.
To have each of you with us today.
This company has the commitment of heading towards digitization so that its performance and its management capabilities would be enhanced and would offer better services to the citizen and, of course, interact with the concerned parties. AI plays a pioneering and revolutionary role in the field of finance and economy. This conference allowed us to tackle the cornerstone of AI while introducing our vision that can possibly improve this sector.
On the sidelines of this event, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Algerian Post and the National School of AI, aimed at developing solid and beneficial collaborative approach by leveraging the expertise of both parties to enrich the innovative technological solutions and services offered on the Algerian market.
In recent international developments, the focus has shifted to the Middle East amid concerns of potential Zionist attacks on Iran. Algeria expressed deep concern over the situation, as stated by the Algerian mission to the UN. The current events stem from an Iranian military strike on military sites of the Zionist entity in response to an earlier aggression against the Iranian embassy in Damascus. Algeria is urging all parties to exercise restraint to prevent further escalation in the region. These remarks were made by Algeria's Vice Permanent Representative to the UN following a detailed briefing by the UN Secretary General. Nassim Gawawi emphasized that the Middle East is facing a delicate phase that requires all international actors to uphold wisdom, highlighting that international peace and security hinge on everyone's adherence to international law. He further underscored that the de-escalating situation in the Middle East in the short term will require an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and an end to the brutal killings and collective punishment against the Palestinian people.
The Middle East is on the brink. The people of the region are confronting a real danger of a devastating full-scale conflict. Now is the time to defuse and de-escalate. Now is the time for maximum restraint.
The Security Council meets today in the wake of the developments in the Middle East yesterday that actually create a threat for a very dangerous escalation that could bring the region and the world to an even more dangerous stage where things get out of control and whose results cannot be predicted. My country, Algeria, is following these developments with utmost concern and interest and warns against grave consequences should the circle of conflict in the Middle East broadens. That's why we call upon all parties to practice self-restraint and avoid escalation. Would like also to reiterate what the SG has said, and I quote, that neither the region nor the world can afford another war.
In a related topic, the Zionist barbarity intensifies in the occupied West Bank. Large-scale attacks perpetrated by Zionist settlers against several cities and villages with the support and protection of the occupation's army. The Arab League condemns these attacks. The League's spokesperson highlighted that war crimes committed daily by the occupation forces in Gaza should not overshadow what is happening in the West Bank. And in the Palestinian enclave, precisely, the bombings continue. 68 Palestinians have been killed in the past 24 hours in Gaza, and more than 2 million are still threatened by famine. And with that, you come to the end for today's program. Thank you for tuning in. See you tomorrow.